Life and life.
We're
Okay.
good? Okay, this is where we get a choice. Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Hello.
Arc live from still the Network School here in sunny Singapore, Johor Special Economic Zone. It looks even better than the pictures behind us. I wish you could see the view, but thank you for being with us here again. This is actually, to start with an immediate contradiction. This is a world first.
What is this?
This is a world first.
World first?
Yeah. Why do you think this is a world first?
World first what? Like world first?
You being here this particular time, this is a world first.
World first. So should I answer?
Okay, you're welcome to guess.
This is a world first time speaking with you in this beautiful lounge in Arc.
Well, that's the contradiction, right? Because this is actually the second time that we have spoken on this thing here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm lying. It's definitely not the first of that one, but that's what the world first is. This is the world first time that we've had a repeat guest on Arc Live.
Wow.
Do you feel privileged?
Of course. Yeah, thank you.
I think one of the reasons that Mikhail's a great member of Arc is he's just like, I think he has like really low expectations, and therefore we just like constantly exceed them, If you have low expectations, please come and join us as well. The more smiles we have around, the better.
Frontier is not fancy.
Yeah, frontier, not fancy. I do think it confuses some people though when they turn up and they're like, "This is kind of nice." like you were kind of underselling this stuff, right? It is pretty funny right now. I'm also sorry if there's some background noise. We have like base are running their like founder's house here at Network School right now, and there's like 50 people in the corridor outside of us like getting tours around. We're very fortunate at Arc to have pretty much the nicest spaces on the island here that we're building, and so everyone wants to kind of like come through. It's actually been a super busy week. We had David from the All In podcast that came through kind of like yesterday, as well as Corey from Z Fellows came through. Oh, yeah. Not to mention Balaji, just everyone wants to come through and say hello. But enough ambling around. What has been happening over the last few months? Well, first you disappeared for a little bit, right? Because when did you first come to Network School?
Oh, in July.
In July, right?
Yeah, probably.
God,
yeah,
I mean, what? It feels like the first time I met you was about 2 years ago, but is it really just July?
It was July, yeah. And so, yeah, it feels for myself like previous life, before Network School and after Network School.
And why? So what? Since you've last been on this show, right? A few things have happened. One is that you've decided to base yourself more mainly here.
Oh my God, we are talking about decisions. Did I make that decision or destiny made it for me? Yeah, I don't know, but. Oh my God, I've heard about this concept like a couple of years ago, and I told my friends like, oh, I would like to start my own country, just by joking, and he told me about Network State.
Yep.
The book.
Yep.
Yeah, I read the book, and I was, that's funny. Yeah, and I started to think we need more experiments on real people.
Yep.
Like in real life.
Yep.
So kind of. Check what works, what doesn't work, etc.
Yeah, people tend to look down on experimenting on humans, but this is effectively what we're doing, right? We're just some guinea pigs, but the important part is we're opt-in, right?
Yeah, we
are willing participants in the experiment, right? And benefiting because of it.
Yeah, and what else? Yeah, so it's a fun experiment, and I think besides fun, it's valuable for the humanity, and I think it's valuable for everybody who is here.
Yeah.
Well. So
let's step up. Should we remind everyone what are you building?
Oh, I'm building hardware. Hardware is hard. That's what. Yeah.
But you make it look easy for everyone.
But I've heard yesterday, healthcare is hell. So hardware is not that hard anymore for me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so you need to step it up and start creating a medical device, right? Because then you get the sort of healthcare is hell and the hardware is hard intersection.
No, so I never thought about healthcare because I always thought that healthcare is it's heaven, but it requires a lot of effort. Yeah,
but you're at least doing some mental health, right? By helping people keep their assets safe. Yeah.
Oh, so.
Come on, show and tell. Come on, get it out. Okay. Get it out. This is it's always the easiest thing to do here, right?
So what did I do? Yeah, I built this. This is a hardware wallet for crypto. And if we speak about ideas, so the idea of having it is simplicity and safety in one place. So if you are not super technical, you might experience some problems with dealing with crypto. You need to learn a lot of stuff, or you need to have a tech buddy who helps you. And so this is going to be your friend or tech buddy.
Can we put it a little bit nearer so people can see? This is pretty much the most beautiful wallet that's in existence, right?
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it is like your claim to fame, right? Like, we'll see if I can look at that. Look at that. Can I touch it and make it turn on?
Yeah, you can touch it.
See, it's not even fake. Look, it actually works. You know, there we are.
I'm not sure about this. Can we present it?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. You just okay. You've got the special edition, right?
This is just a prototype. Yeah, we're building. Oh, so good. So yeah.
So explain the prototype.
Oh, this is a co-branded wallet with NS.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, how has that come about? A co-branded wallet with NS.
I don't know. It's not public yet, and so we're still thinking
just
about
making it public right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're kind of making first step of
another world first. Yeah.
World first time. Yeah. But let's see how it flows. Yeah, but
because your relationship with NS has sort of deepened. I don't know if you want to also talk about that on the since last time.
Yeah, and the last time I just came.
Yeah.
To check it out, and eventually I'm here. I'm here back and forth.
Because you're a fellow as well.
Yeah, I'm fellow as well.
What does that mean?
So I got some support from NS and from Balaji. Yeah, so they invested.
Yeah, exactly.
And they backed us. Yeah, that's pretty cool, and I appreciate. And
why do you think they backed you then, Mikhail?
Why?
So because you're one of these like very understated, humble people.
My personal kind of interaction with why question is kind of trivial, not so trivial. So I don't know how to answer why questions, especially for other people, not for myself.
Okay.
But yeah, so and so I don't know. It's always kind of fast with investors. Like
sure, it is.
15 minutes talk and what are you building, why, etc. Yeah, what are you struggling with?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
Yeah,
that's it. That's how it happens.
Yeah. I always explain to these new angel investors that are thinking about this. That I'm like, guys, like, look, you have like a maximum 1 hour to have your decision, like end to end, right? And you need to be wiring money after that, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you look like an amateur.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny, but amazing. Congratulations. And again, that's one of the big updates since you were last in this chair. I'm going to put that all down to the fact that we did a great chat.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No,
this one we built here. We assembled it here in Network School. Yeah, we have a beautiful office here, small lab.
Right, because we back up right again, because you originally created like 5,000 of these beautiful devices, and they all sold out.
More than 5,000, yeah.
Okay, right, and sold out. I know you have a waiting list. I know there's pretty much 100 people here at Network School that wants to have your device. And this is the secret that you're working on to make it possible for everybody, right? Yeah. So when do you think this is going to be available for sale for everyone? These are the types of promises you don't like to make.
I've made some promises before.
Yeah.
And now I'm constantly like, I just met a couple base people, and they're oh, we ordered wallet from you, and we haven't received it yet. So yeah. We're shipping. We shipped almost everything on that batch. Yeah. And we finished production. And thanks for everybody who supports us. Yeah. Not only investors, but everybody. Like. Yeah. Thanks for you supporting me.
No, thank you for building. Everybody. But this is important, right? Because there are other things about this that are important beyond just like a super beautiful design, beyond it being a great user experience. It's also all open source. And again, like you are not asking us to trust you with the important things that you put on this. Yeah, and on top of that, so if you buy, for example, other device, competitor's device, you need to trust at least one manufacturer or one vendor, or cheap vendor, that there is no kind of backdoors involved. We are thinking through this, and so we have
multiple chips. Like we have a system on chip with secure element embedded. We have dedicated secure element certified, and we have additional salt. So we have 3 components working together to secure your seed phrase. So in order to hack this device, you need to get access to all other vendors. And it's pretty unlikely that the NXP and Nordic Semiconductor, which we use, and third component, they will like go together and create some kind of dedicated secret plan. So no,
it's good. It's amazing just how, again, these like this the first generation of devices that sort of like crypto's been built on, just like I can't believe just how much we do have to sort of like to trust them, right? And people like Ledger have basically openly now had to state, right, there's basically like a back door, isn't there? like
oh, I don't know. It's so I don't like to tell bad things about competitors, because we are all together making world a better place.
Yes.
And but they made some kind of controversial moves.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think
we need more.
Aside of that, I'm a big believer in good intentions for everybody. So everybody has good intentions inside. Yeah. So
everyone has good intentions, but the question is who has good actions.
Yeah,
right? That's what matters a little bit more.
Maybe I'm over optimistic, but yeah, that's what I think.
It's what manifests. But okay, so like, look, the important stuff thing here, right, is that there's a new batch on the way. You're not promising when it's going to be available, but if they go to, is it .xyz? Hito. What's the Hito.xyz? So that's HITO. Yeah, exactly. Just in case you were wondering whether Mikhail was actually dedicated to what he's building, right? Here at Art, we care about people that are willing to die for what they're building, and like tattoos are sort of representative of that, right? So Hito.xyz, you can basically get on the wait list for when the next kind of like batch is. How about if you want to, get a few thousand for your community as part of a partnership or something? How do they make that happen then with this sort of stuff?
Just DM me or email me, Mike at HitoXYZ, or DM me on Twitter, and we will make it happen. And on top of that, we can do revenue share with you. So if you have users, and if you like to keep your users with you by creating your own co-branded device, we can do it together.
And this is the point with this, right, to be really clear, is that's not just about community, that's maybe about people that are out there have hot wallets, and it's like, okay, wait, you can do a partnership with Hito and actually deliver the kind of like the cold storage solution for all of your kind of like users, while keeping sort of like their sort of experience on the front end, right? So I think an amazing opportunity for a lot of people that don't want to get into the hell that is hardware as we started, right? No, it's amazing. Well, look, again, we're going to keep this simple and short. Like, thank you for coming and giving us an update.
Thank you so much.
I think like maybe we're going to be able to do like the world first for the second time as well with you, when we bring you on for the third show, in like Q1, Q2 next year for like the next update, right? I think that would be a nice thing, right?
Yeah,
but that means you've got to have like completely sold your second batch.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No, pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on again, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, dude. Thank you very much. Oh, and you take that one back, right?
Oh, you can have it.
Thank you. They're like collector's items, these first edition. They're gonna go for NFTs. But again, as you can see, there are people that are coming here, and despite network school only barely being a year old, people are coming here, having success, choosing to stay, getting invested in, and going on to success after success. But please come join number 2. Nice to see you, Nick. How you doing?
How's it going? Good.
Great. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Good to be here.
You as usual got given zero prep, zero info of what's about to happen here, and you probably just got a bad example of what happens, because that was the second time through, and so we're going to go like completely left field. But why on earth are you here on this sort of like ghost city thing in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for having me. I'm sure we'll make the best of it. I am here to build TrueFrame. And so what TrueFrame does is it syncs your code and your design. So I was hoping today I could just take you through a little bit how that would work, and why I think that should happen.
I feel like you're a professional already, right? One, you're looking at the camera all the time. And I feel like the time we've had like professional content creators like on here, they're way more better at like looking in the camera and like engaging the audience. And two, do you know, the first time I did TV was about 10, 11, 12 years ago, live TV in London. And, you know, I sort of assumed that I was going on the TV to talk about my startup, right? So I get on the TV, I do this live show with it for 5 minutes, you know, like this, right? And then I get off and I sort of reflect on like, I didn't actually even mention my startup once in those 5 minutes. They didn't even ask me what I do or why I'm sort of like here, right? And I learned a hard lesson at that point that regardless of what the first question is, you know, like, oh, do you like the weather today? Regardless of the first question is like, you know, I build X and I'm here for Y. What was your question again? You know, you just get your message out, right? And I feel that's why you're a professional as well. Because the exact first thing that you did was not just talk to the camera, but you told everyone exactly what you're building. But anyway, okay, I'm still going to be like the, you know, helpful here again and go like, okay, remind me again, Nick, right? Let's repeat it back to the camera. Like, what are you building?
Appreciate it. So I'm building TrueFrame, and TrueFrame syncs your design and your code in real time. And so I actually think that's a more exacerbated issue than ever. And so we all know, at least most of the people watching this, that AI has really changed the way we build products in the last year and the last year and a half, and it's made it fast. And so one thing that I've noticed for me personally, and in speaking with other people, is that this speed is not without its trade-offs. And so you see hobbyists, you see startups, you see them banging out an MVP overnight. I know another ARC member did. It was crazy, you know? Idea at 7 p.m., finished by 7 a.m.
Yep. Literally 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., presenting it to everyone the next day.
It was ridiculous. But one thing that you can tell with a lot of these products is you can see the difference in quality, right? You can see immediately, hey, this is AI generated. And so why is that? And then on the contrary to that, these established enterprise or corporations, they aren't able to capture this speed because they can't sacrifice the quality. And so the reason that is because there's this paradigm of design to code pipeline, and it's one way, right? And so the AI-powered workflow really like blew up that pipeline. But these corporations can't sacrifice the quality. The startups need to ship fast. They can't sacrifice the speed. And so what happens is you have to choose one. And so what I'm trying to build, which is called TrueFrame, is a way to keep your code in sync with your design in terms of allowing each section of your team to operate as fast as they possibly can without one bottlenecking the other. And so how does it do that? First, what it does is it uses your code as the source of the design system, right? And so what that looks like is a visual map of all of the pages and flows of your application generated from the code itself. What the designer can do with that visual map is they can go in and actually make those surface level visual changes. You know, I've talked to a lot of designers and product managers who they try to get their engineers to do something pixel perfect to the Figma mock, right? And it's just not quite right. But there's these little 2 pixel differences. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate all of those correspondence, those 2 pixel meetings, everything that's just not necessary. Just allow the designer to ensure that the design is pixel perfect to the Figma mock. And another thing is TrueFrame would not compete with Figma, right? It's a separate step of the process. Figma is to envision the design, and then TrueFrame is to ensure that it's created. The next step of that is that your non-technical stakeholders, your product managers, your designers, right? They can leave comments directly in the code by clicking on that visual canvas map of the entire product. And so those would create, those comments that they would leave are not just comments that they have to be checked, but they would actually create GitHub issues on the relevant source code that the issue is based around. And so what these changes are trying to do is trying to eliminate the communication or translation layer between the engineering team and between the design team, making it as fast as possible so that we can iterate on products and we can ship without losing quality.
Fair. But thank you for the introduction. I think that's. I wondered if I should just walk off stage and let Nick go for it, right? You know, like who even needs me here, right? Like it's great. It's great, mate. Where are you from?
I'm from California, Newport Beach.
And when you could be hanging out in San Francisco with all the other sort of like, you know, nerds over there, why on earth are you here?
Good question. Yeah, so I thought about that a lot. When I had this idea,
I'm leaving.
When I had this idea, I really considered for a long time. Recently, I quit my job to work on this full time. And what I told them initially was I was going to San Francisco. And that weighed on me a little bit because it wasn't necessarily where I would have wanted to be. Mm-hmm. I've been Indonesia based the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I love it there. I love this lifestyle we have of you know, expats or whatever you call it, going where you're treated best.
Yep.
And so it would have been a big sacrifice for me to leave this lifestyle I've created over the last 3 years. And recently I discovered Network School, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of society as a service, of dark talent, of all of these things that allow us to build these powerhouses. You know, for example, I had a startup in Bali. Excuse me. I had a startup in Bali. We raised money. We got to market, and it was great. But we were working in a co-working, right? And that was a whole thing where it's like you're having meetings and stuff, and we were just terrorizing the co-working. It's just not the place for it, right? And so the way I like to think about it is digital nomads were the perception or preceded what we have here in these startup societies, right? And they kind of paved the way. And now what we have is just this amazing incubating space where we can just like, you know, in something like Network School, for example, you don't have to worry about your food. You don't have to worry about many of these little things that attract people to places like Indonesia, to places like Thailand, right? Because it gives you so much of your time back.
Yep.
And there's no one whose time is more valuable than a founder.
Sure. Yep. No, I 100% agree, right? And I guess that's it. You were given that, you had that choice, right? Of like, go back to San Francisco, to California where you were, and maybe gain by being in that sort of like melting pot, right? But then like maybe like lose the quality of life, dramatically increase your burn, and maybe actually also like dramatically decrease like actually the amount of time that you could just be fully focused on sort of like building TrueFrame. I don't know, 100%. Right? And I guess 100%. Maybe what Network School does is like it sort of like solves some of that sort of like, I don't know if that's a trilemma, but it changes the opportunity cost, right? Because actually you can be here and you have that melting pot, right? You've then got the other builders, you've got the other people that are in the same shoes as you, that have the same aspirations and ambitions and are here locked in trying to actually build. I mean, how's it been sort of like, again, you've been now here like 2 weeks, right? Like, is it less? I don't even know what day of the month it is right now, but how's it been for you versus sort of expectations?
I think it surpassed my expectations. I've been here about 1 week, and I had some expectations, but very few. I wasn't so familiar with Network School and the idea of network states until within the last month. And so when I came here, I was just blown away by the concentrated force of just entrepreneurial power in this one little place that most people have never heard of. And, you know, talking to so many people, I would say it's by far more concentrated than something like San Francisco, where the average person you will meet is way more aligned with what you want to do as a founder, right? And in San Francisco, I know a lot of people are there for other reasons, for good pay or whatever it might be. But here you can kind of stop anybody and be like, hey, what are you doing? They're like, I'm building this, I'm doing that. You know, they have all these different things where you're like, wow, there's so much alignment here. You know, it's like there's too many good connections to even choose from. You know, it's an abundant, it's like an all you can eat buffet of founders.
No, I actually agree. I think like the density is actually higher than San Francisco. And actually I think that these like frontier places, like also sort of like, attract like an even more interesting sort of like founder, where like maybe they're working on something even sort of like crazier or even more fun, and that's part of why they're kind of like out here in the first place. So I do think it's like, yes, we're on an island. It's not as deserted as everyone makes out, though, right? It's getting busy,
Definitely,
right?
yeah, restaurants,
yeah, exactly,
yeah.
right. But also just because of the fact that it is quiet and we are all here, the density is insane, right? Like, and the people you hang out were amazing. But so again, you were in Indonesia. Like, how did TrueFrame come about? Again, were you busy in those sort of like product processes?
So that's exactly how it came about. The last company I was working on, I was working on a lean and mean startup, and we were fully utilizing AI, and we had a UI UX designer, but here's a little bit how the workflow went, because our priority was to ship faster than anyone else.
Yep.
And so we would decide on a new feature, and I would say, as the head of engineering, I would say, hey, give me a shot to make it first, and then you can come fix it to my UI UX designer. You can come fix what I did and make it look nice. And so I realized I could get 90% of the way there with the right prompting, with the right context, with these other things. And then what would happen was I would push it to production. He would go on, and sometimes there would be a little issue with getting the right data and stuff. But all he would do was he would take a screenshot, a screen grab, and he would paste that into Figma. And then he would put arrows leading to the things that we should change. I would change those, and then we would ship that. And I said, hey, this process makes a lot of sense, but there could be a way faster way to do it, a way better way. And especially if we could give the designer some power, if we could give him some ability to not only give me feedback in a better way, but to independently push the needle forward, I think that would free me up to do things. One way I've always liked to conceptualize TrueFrame is the anti-lovable. And so what I mean by that is I always...
who wants to build the fastest growing European startup ever? Like, who would want to do that, right? Keep going. Anti-lovable. I like this, a hot take. Right?
And so in my mind, yes, it's the fastest growing European startup ever. But how many real companies do you think are using lovable built products? And how many, like, let's say even if there was something that got initially like ideated through Lovable, it would be rebuilt. And so why is that? It's because Lovable turns designers into engineers and engineers into designers.
Sure.
Right? And the thing is, at an enterprise scale, at a corporation scale, even at a successfully well-funded startup scale, that doesn't fly.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You might as well have anyone do it.
You can turn them into it, exactly, but they're not experts.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
They've got no idea what they're doing.
And
it's a great expression, though, actually, right? Turning designers into engineers and engineers into designers. That's actually what Lovable enables, right? But that's actually potentially a bad thing that it enables.
Yeah, depending at the scale, right? Sure. With hobbyists, with startups, with the project you want to just vibe code to create some personal tooling. Amazing. Yeah, but it just depends at the scale you're working at, right? And so the idea with TrueFrame is to allow the larger startup, corporation, enterprise to capture that full value of the AI by allowing them to integrate it into their processes. Yeah, something like that.
No, it's super cool. And so, yeah, I mean, how is that going? Like, again, it's very new, right? You still have like, again, a very thorough product from what I've sort of like seen, whatever it is, right? Like, people can come and use this now, or is it?
So. Not quite. So it's very close. And so the reason no one has done this before is because the challenge of what we are trying to do is to isolate and abstract a lot of the technical setup of application from a designer. Sure. And so what do I mean by that? If you go on Twitter, you go on X, you see most of the complaints for a lot of these tools is the environmental setup is still the threshold is too high.
Sure.
It's complicated. I don't know what I don't know what API keys are. I don't know where to get them, nor should they have to.
What's terminal? Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so what we're trying to do is what I call the TrueFrame VM, or I call it the virtual matrix.
Okay.
And the way you can think about this is your code has no idea it's running in a mock environment. And so it's the actual code, it's pixel perfect, it's what's actually being run. But the thing is, it's running in this matrix-like environment where every single network call, every single database query is being intercepted, and mock data is being returned based on some previous parsing and rendering of this mock data. And so what that does is it's very interesting. It allows us to render different user journeys, edge cases, let's even demos, right? This is all getting into the future use cases of what's possible with this virtual matrix, as I've been calling it. But the technical challenge of implementing that is no joke, right? You need to account for every single different kind of framework. You need to, right? And we've been able to use some different techniques to abstract a lot of the complexity through some transformations, right? It's not so important to get into here, but we're very close, right? You know, hopefully within the next week or so. And then after that, it's really gonna, I think, hit the ground running. And I think the potential of what's possible with this VM environment is very exciting. For example, one use case I was thinking about just the other day was, you know, most of the engineers I know are using Claude Code. And I just saw something the other day where it was Anthropic offered me, because I'm a power user, $1,000 in free credits for using their web Claude Code. Right? And the problem with agentic workflows like that is that they don't have access to your environmental variables. They can't run the code in the traditional setup. So yeah, another use case of that thing would be allowing like an agent to test in this mock environment that's safe, secure. It's not going to delete the production database, all these things.
Yeah, the classically Replit did that a little while ago. Did you see who's the guy from SASTA? Like he was like vibe coding like the SASTA kind of like homepage, right? And then Replit just deleted, like lied about not having access to this stuff, and then like deleted the entire code base.
One of many stories.
Classic, right? You know, but it all got resolved, and again, like, and it was fine. But like, there are risks of doing this, right? But it's fine. So TrueFrame, what's the domain? Where do people go sign up to get early access to this?
TrueFrame.io.
TrueFrame.io. Well, look, Nick, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward again to doing the world second with you and getting you back on to see how progress has been in 3-6 months.
Awesome.
Right?
Thanks for having me. Very exciting.
Thank you. Oh, God, fighting. Again, there's just like a constant entourage of bass people like meandering around behind me, and I hope it's not kind of like disturbing you too much. But we're going to march on. Rami, how are you?
Nice to meet you, James.
I'm going to see if I can, it's Ramiro Ramirez.
You got it almost.
But, no, I did. I got it completely wrong. I can't even do one
Ramiro.
of the R's. Exactly, let alone all of the R's, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, a long time ago, I was learning Arabic in Lebanon. And I realized through this process of taking, you know, hours of tuition every day in this class, that actually to learn Arabic, I first needed to learn French. Because everyone was constantly talking in French in this class, right? And so I was missing half of the kind of like the context. And then I realized, actually, no, I need to go deeper than that. I actually need to learn English. And this was because they were like, you know, this is the past participle. And I was like, I don't even know what the past participle is, right? I need to go and learn English language to start with, right?
Learn grammar.
Well, yeah, grammar. Okay, right. You know, but often if you've got a really well-trained English speaker, they will speak more properly than I would anyway, even with the Queen's English. But then I realized even underneath that, that I needed actually to learn to listen, because I couldn't even hear the sounds that were being made.
I mean, that's a life skill, right? Learn to listen.
But it's even deeper than that, right? So when you say Ramiro, right? Not only could I not actually like replicate the noise, I can't even hear it in the first place. I don't even know what I'm trying to replicate, right?
Yeah. It's also muscle memory, right? Like with the tongue.
Yeah, and just I mean, the ear memory, right? It's just like not listening for the rolls of the R's or the different types of.
I had that in French.
But anyway, so a bit of an off-topic one there, right? But okay, so how do we say your name properly, Rami?
Ramiro. But because it has so many R's and my full name is Ramiro Ramirez, I kind of settled into contracting that into Rami.
It's a beautiful poetic name though, right?
Yeah.
Was that deliberate with your parents?
I think my dad was a joker. I was like, okay, this kid's going to grow some personality just because he has to pronounce his names out loud. And you can imagine how a 6-year-old pronounced those R's. So it was quite hard for me to be like a kid. Like, I'm familiar.
But it's worked out well.
Yeah, now here I am.
And why are you here, Rami? What's brought you here?
I guess I discovered this place maybe 2 years ago when I read the Network State book. And I've always been quite interested in community living, alternative ways of structuring society. I live in a few communities around the world. I've been a nomad for like 20 years now. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to organize society. And I've read so much. I've watched so many documentaries. You have these conversations like in the evening over a glass of wine, and everyone is an expert, everyone is a philosopher, everyone is a king.
Absolutely.
But you have very few instantiations of experiments of how to structure new societies. And this seems to be one of the only places to actually get hands-on experience. So I applied for the V1, I think. I didn't get through. And then I got an email on March this year inviting me to come here. So I tried to rearrange my life a little bit so I can be here starting in August.
I mean, like, it's. I think so many people applied in such a short space of time for V1 that it really wasn't about being good enough or over a bar. It's like, well, how are we going to process this many applications in this short period of time? Type thing. That was like tough, you know. But yeah, okay. So yeah. So you've been in since March, is it?
No.
So,
I got invited in March,
okay,
but
okay.
I came here in August.
Okay.
For 2 months, and I had the idea of like, okay, 2 months should be enough for me to understand. Is this a good place? Is this real? Is this a cult? What's going on? It is a little bit of a cult without the negative connotation.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing definitions of that the
you
other
have
day,
to be semantically clean.
Can you remember the Oxford English Dictionary definition of cult?
I think it was
it's definitely
structure, belief system, and practices that usually tend to coerce their members to stay and kind of extract value from them in a very negative way.
Right, exactly, and that was it. Like I feel like it was just like it's clearly not that based on the Oxford English Dictionary, right? It's like I think like really that.
So it's like the positive version of that, where like-minded people get together to try to figure out reality.
Yeah, but it's difficult. I mean, I think this is part of again what this is a network state, right? Is part of that actual like. Putting some sort of label on it, right, which isn't such a loaded term, you know, that carries all this weight of history kind of like on it, right? That's the beauty of a new name, right? Like, you know, you have this opportunity to create something kind of like new around it, right? And I think this is a genuinely new attempt at something. I think you've also already mentioned something very interesting there, again, like this, and Nick touched on this as well, again, that you had lived as a digital nomad in different sort of societies and places around the world, right? But like that maybe wasn't cutting it for you. There was something you seeking more. What was I guess missing, right? Because there are these like tens of millions of people that like left home, right? Maybe we're expecting to go for a month or 6 months or 12, right? And just never came back, right? And so what is going on there, and what's keeping them on the road? What are they missing? Why did you end up here?
Well, I was born and raised in Argentina. When I was 21, I followed my parents' advice of like, hey, study, get a degree, find a girlfriend, get a dog. Life is complete. And I got that when I was 21, 22, and I was panicking. I went into deep depression because I kind of followed my family advice, and it was not enough. So I had a good partner at the time, and between each other, kind of we push each other to like leave the comfort of like the local home and start traveling. And I never came back. I had this deep curiosity to see what was going on in the world. But when you get into the world, you realize that everyone struggles with the same things. Everyone struggles to get someone to love, to get a meaningful life in a community with like-minded people. And after a couple of years, you start realizing that it's not just enough to hop from society to society, from culture to culture. It's very culturally enriching. It makes you very humble because you understand that we're very much alike, despite the language, despite even the belief systems. We all take to conveying the same things. We want to search for meaning. We want to be surrounded by people that encourage each other. We want to feel love. We want to love each other. But sometimes the bureaucracy, the economy, the state of society kind of gets stuck in between all those wishes. And if you see most societies, most countries are structured in the same way. So that's kind of what started my quest for a different way to structure society, governance systems. I'm deeply interested in governance systems. And so far, I haven't seen something radically different than representative democracy. And we have also many conversations about democracy, communism, whatnot. And so far, still nothing there like to convince me that there's still like a better way than representative democracy. Although it's not good, it's still the best we have. I've tried some experimental like societies or like small kind of hippie communities, but I got a little bit disappointed in that sense because it's usually kind of an isolationist approach where most people think that they nail it, that they have the best way to structure society, where it's very horizontal, but it never scales. You isolate yourself and you think you can have your own little farm and your own hut and you only bring your friends and that's it. But I think after we actually developed nuclear weapon, the idea of isolating yourself and just doing your own thing is not option anymore. You actually need to be out there. You need to be in society. You need to be an active, positive member of society to try to avoid total world collapse. And that's kind of my quest now to understand how to do that. From a very little humble perspective, how to add like a little grain of sand to that perspective.
It is so difficult to isolate, right? Like every single, just like even the simplest life that you want to live relies on such an unbelievably large number of humans across the entire world, right? Unless you're truly gonna, go off grid, not wear clothes, and go back to sort of like beta, which you can do, right?
It sounds very attractive. Once you actually start doing it, you realize the amount of time that it takes to actually have your farm, go hunting, produce your clothing.
There are these
not that
beautiful repercussions of humanity cooperating as like a global system where people become efficient and specialize at certain activities, which means that you can buy them for fractions on the dollar versus like what you can do yourself. It's very interesting, this, right? I mean, but maybe Argentina.
Oh boy, Argentina. I mean, there's a bit of a joke that every 10 years we have a recession. When I was born, 1988, we had what was called at the time hyperinflation. And of course, the economy was down.
Was it that bad, hyperinflation?
It is very bad.
What were people, was everything on fire? Was everyone running around like,
Things were not on fire, but you could see, well, I couldn't because I was like 0 years old.
Sure.
But what I get told from my parents and the people around that time is you have this like, this belief like installed in society that people start, it switches the way people perceive the world and the strategy that they have to go about life. So people start spending their money immediately. There's no this perspective of, I'm going to have some savings, I'm going to invest here, I'm going to start this new entrepreneurial venture to see how it goes. It shifts people's mentality to like the immediate here and now. Which sounds kind of romantic and great if you're like a Taoist, but in practice, you do need to look forward like generationally. And that's very sad to see. So I kind of grew up in kind of that perspective. Slowly, the economy get better. But again, every 10 years, you have a total collapse, like what we had in Argentina for the last 10 years, maybe. We reached like 1,000% inflation. So it's impossible. I see my friends that stay in Argentina and they're like around my age now, like brilliant people that want to be entrepreneurs, who want to do the good thing, take risks. It's impossible.
Because Argentina was, even in the 60s, whatever it is, was a top 10 GDP per capita nation in the world, right?
Which makes it even more damning.
Right. And I think this is one of the things that people just don't sort of like realize, right? It's like, it's not the only example of a nation that is like, I feel like fallen from grace is maybe like a little bit strong. I feel like that should be reserved for the British.
We have a special
but another South American country like Venezuela, again, like top 3 GDP per capita, a lot of oil wealth, maybe very different economy to Argentina, but like, countries all the time fall from grace. This is a normal repeated thing.
Pattern.
And at the minute, everyone just like rests on their laurels and think that these countries that they live in are just going to be okay. They're not. The power dynamics are changing already. And I guess like this is what's interesting from your background and where you've come from, is that you've like been at the heart of, I guess, like a downward spiral. And are you feeling more positive about it now?
I am. Like the new president Milei is a little bit of a controversial figure. A lot of the left-wing people kind of hate him because of the radical measures that he's taking in terms of economical measures. So there's a lot to criticize him in terms like, yes, you are endangering certain aspects of society. You're opening up purchases of the land by foreign entities and whatnot. But I think his perspective is something very close to someone like Elon Musk will take. He's almost running the country as a company in a way that, hey, we're in red. how do we prevent that? Oh,
Sure.
well, let's reduce expenditure of the government.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very hard of like people that go to pension, like they get less resources. But the way he explained it, the Capuzzo, his economy secretary, I think they're good at explaining like, hey, you don't turn a country in just 2 months.
Sure.
You need very strict collection of laws and executions that actually will turn the country around. And for the next 4 years, it's still going to be hard.
Yeah.
But you do see certain things turning around, like inflation, like
Sure.
the parity in Argentina.
It's actually been a miraculous turnaround in a fairly short period of time, right?
It's incredible.
So World Bank, etc., all the lizards that be were forecasting that Argentina was going to basically implode on the election of Milei, right? Like basically implode, right? That he was going to completely ruin everything, right? And not quite the antithesis of an implosion, right? Like it's not become a panacea, but like it's been about as good as you could hope in such a short period of time.
It avoided total collapse. Like it switched the curve, and a lot of people were quite didn't have the best expectations for the rest of the government. But we had like midterm elections like a month ago, and he won again, like 40% of the seats. Like again, it's him. So even society kind of the small minority that is very loud says like, no, this is wrong. The people vote actually counts. And a lot of people still support his implementation of the law. So I have a good, bright future for him.
No,
like, I believe that things can change.
We've not that we've gone off topic. It's very, very interesting, Ramiro. But what are you up to day to day?
Well, I've been doing software engineer for like 15 years now, and I work in every single industry. I've done traditional e-commerce. I think nowadays, what I'm passionate about is systems architecture. I'm a nerd. I'm an architect in that sense. So I like to see how things work and design things in an optimal way. Right now, I'm doing, I had this thesis like 2 years ago when all the AI craze came in. And like, oh, we have agents now. I come from a world where you need a team to actually get things done fast and efficiently. Mm-hmm. And I love having a team. I love leading teams. I used to lead a team of Web3 engineers. We used to work with Web3 and privacy chains. And the privacy chains will hire us to develop proof of concepts to showcase what new privacy can do. Mm-hmm. And we did that for a couple of years. I got a bit disillusioned on that because I said this the other day. If you make a privacy cake, but on the side you put a usable cake, people will take the usable cake. So the actual user doesn't care so much yet about privacy, which is a shame. And I think it's on us within the crypto bubble to turn that around. And I think the next 4 years are going to be key to that because the technology is kind of ready. You need a whole bunch of infrastructure to actually deliver the promise that we can have a decentralized private exchange. And only now it's starting to happen. So I do see that the new actual applications, customer-facing applications, are going to start to pop up.
I mean, not to go too off topic here, but I think basically privacy is completely underpriced. Yes. No one's even talking about it. I think this is potentially beyond like the changes to countries and the dynamics that crypto just through Bitcoin and sort of destabilizing of nation state currencies is just already occurring. And then the power of AI and the impact on countries and the existing world order. The third is actually privacy. And like no one fucking talks about privacy. Like if, and the point is that it's no longer a theory now. Again, we're at this stage now where like actually we've got through a lot of the theoretical, a lot of the breakthroughs, the technology is actually sort of there. It's going to start bleeding through into consumer applications. And I think this is going to fundamentally change the world and the relationships that people have with each other. But like,
I hope so.
I mean, it's going to be, I feel like there's an entire other like whole session on privacy, right? But like, let's not go too far down that rabbit hole, like because like Rami so you're telling the story again about the sort of like the work that you've been sort of like doing, right?
Yeah, so I pivoted to my older passion of AI. I kind of had a time in between when I became quite disillusioned with the Web3 space and decided to go back to AI. And the premise was like now AI agents could replace a big part of the labor that you have day to day. So I kind of, as an experiment, began my own personal company, Rami Labs, to develop AI tools for content creations. Because nowadays, essentially, short form of videos became the way that people access you and your brands. So it became the channel. Mm-hmm. It's no more like traditional marketing. If you're not producing short-term video content, you don't exist, essentially. So free advice: generate short form content videos.
We've started doing some long form. Short form still non-existent. All right, you're going to help.
So
It's
I
okay.
decided to start my own company on the premises that you can become like a solo company,
Sure.
and just using AI to automate every single aspect of your business. And I'm in that journey of trying to understand how you actually automate that, and creating tools for all the content creators to generate marketing pieces, essentially, or for everyone that is not so well versed in the art of narration, that maybe you have some good story to tell, you have something valuable to say to the world, but you don't have the right expertise on the topic.
Yep.
I want to create tools that allow everyone to tell their story.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing with Rami Labs. It's a collection of tools that allows people to just tell their stories.
And again, what's the particular person watching this that should come to Rami Labs, and what should they come and try and do with the tools that are there right now? And where should they go to do that?
I think if you're a founder, if you have your brand, if you're a storyteller, if you're an influencer, heck, if you need to say something to the world, then this is for you. You can go to ramilab.com. That's it.
That's fucking easy. And Ramiro, I feel like maybe we just need to do an hour-long conversation at some other point.
That would be
For
awesome.
today, the agenda is packed here at ARC and at Network School today, literally packed. And we've got to keep marching on. You can join us here at any time if you are not already in the building whilst watching this. There are hundreds of other incredible people like Ramiro here that you can hang out with, work with, and up your game. So please come join us here at ARC and Network School. And thank you so much for listening. Peace out.